3 days before the wedding, I received a video from my fiancé's childhood sweetheart. They were all over each other, entangled in a passionate embrace. Joel said your bruised belly turns him off, so he comes to me every night for a midnight snack. It's exhausting. Honestly, I didn't scream or argue. I went straight to the hospital and got the surgery done. On our wedding day, I handed him the abortion report. Then I gave the wedding dress to his sweetheart, but in front of everyone. He ripped that dress off her and went mad trying to find me. Chapter 1. I was shopping when I received a video. In it, Joel and his childhood sweetheart, Clara, were kissing like they couldn't bear to let go. Until that moment, I had always thought they were like family. Having grown up together, the scene made me nauseous. My vision went black. When I came to, I was already in the hospital. The nurse said a taxi driver had brought me in. Congratulations, miss, you're pregnant. The doctor told me gently. My body trembled. Back in college, Joel had chased me for 4 whole years. Every morning without fail, he brought me breakfast. He'd confess his love for me in front of crowds during his speeches. When I was harassed by a punk, he fought off 10 guys just to protect me, even if it meant ending up in the hospital. In our senior year, right before graduation, I wore a wedding dress and stood outside the boys' dorm. Joel, you've walked 999 steps toward me. This last one, let me take it. Will you marry me? Our love story became legendary on campus. After graduation, we stayed in Joel's hometown. We got our marriage certificate. And just like he promised, he spoiled me to the heavens. He even gave me shares in his company, without condition. If you want it, and I have it, it's yours. I truly believed I was the happiest woman in the world. Now, how ironic. The doctor asked kindly, shall we set up your file? Today would be your first prenatal checkup. No, I smiled, but there was no joy in my eyes. I want an abortion. The doctor didn't understand, but respected my privacy and gave me the form. As the cold instruments stirred inside me, it felt like my heart was being torn apart. Baby, I'm sorry. I can't selfishly bring you into a world without a happy home. After the surgery, I folded the ultrasound and the surgery report neatly. 3 days later would be my wedding. I had a gift prepared just for him. Chapter 2. Back home, I acted as if everything was normal. Our housekeeper, Monica, noticed how pale I looked. Ma'am, are you feeling unwell? I weakly shook my head. Just a little cold. I'll be fine after lying down for a bit. Make some soup these days. Keep things light. Monica nodded immediately. I'll prepare something right away. I collapsed onto the bed, heavy and exhausted, and quickly drifted off. When I woke up, it was already dinner time. Clara sat across the dining table, smug and glowing with pride. Last night was my birthday. Joel rented out an entire floor of the restaurant just to celebrate. He even hired a drone team for a performance. Lisa, did you see it? My heart was bleeding, while I spent the night crying in bed over the loss of our baby. They were out celebrating like nothing happened. I clutched my chopsticks tightly, barely keeping myself from shaking with rage. Clara had moved in half a year ago. Joel had said she was heartbroken after a breakup and needed a place to stay while her own apartment was being renovated. I hadn't thought much of it, so I let her stay. I didn't know then, I was letting a snake into my home. Joel knows I love roses. He made drones rain roses from the sky, and he gave me 3 wish cards, anything I want. He'll make it happen. She smiled sweetly, like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. Lisa, did you get any wish cards? I forced a smile. I remembered Joel giving me the same cards last year. I treasured them, kept them like they were precious jewels. I even held on to the last one, never using it. Now, the same trick was being recycled on someone else. It felt like someone was punching my heart over and over again. The pain was unbearable. Her voice buzzed like a fly in my ear. I set my chopsticks down and walked to the bedroom. Clara threw down her chopsticks and sneered. What's with the Ice Queen act? You really think you're the lady of the house? Monica, bring me the soup. Monica clearly wasn't thrilled, but she complied anyway. Joel didn't return until midnight. After a quick shower, he lay down and casually wrapped his arm around my waist. I turned my back to him, pretending to sleep, but my eyes were wide open in the dark. I wanted to sleep, I really did. But my mind kept replaying the filth he had done. The photos of him and Clara in my phone haunted me. One after another. Joel leaned into me, whispering, "Baby." He wasn't behaving. His lips trailed from my neck to my cheek. Warm and hungry, he was inviting me into his game. Like always. Minutes passed. But I stayed still, lifeless, no reaction. If it had been before, I would have already melted into his arms, turned passive into passionate, wrapped myself around him. But now? His touch made me nauseous. Realizing he was getting nowhere, Joel awkwardly pulled away and returned to his side of the bed. A few minutes later, he got up and walked out of the room. I opened my eyes. When the seed of doubt is planted, nothing the other person does makes sense anymore. I quietly got out of bed, barefoot, and stepped outside the room. Sure enough, the door to the guest bedroom was ajar, a sliver of light cutting through the dark like a blade. And beneath that, the faint sounds of a woman moaning. It felt like a hand had gripped my heart, so tightly I couldn't breathe. I crept closer. Through the gap in the door, I saw them, Joel and Clara. Joel had already covered Clara's mouth, whispering sternly, "I told you not to make noise. Don't wake my wife." Even as he spoke, he didn't stop what he was doing. Clara pulled his hand away, gasping for air. "Isn't it more exciting if she hears us?" Joel suddenly froze, then said coldly, "Don't mess with her." He finished and began to pull away. Outside the door, panic surged through me. I instinctively wanted to run, but Clara's syrupy voice followed through the crack. "I get it. Joel, don't go." Of course, Joel didn't leave that night. My whole body was stiff, the blood in my veins frozen. It took everything in me to walk back to our bedroom. I lay back down, gently touching my belly. A tear slipped down my cheek, soaking into the pillow and leaving a silent stain. I had just endured the agony of an abortion, like being carved open alive. And he was in the next room, screwing another woman. I didn't dare cry out loud. I stuffed my fist into my mouth, biting down to muffle the sobs. Only when I was completely drained did sleep finally come. But even then, it wasn't restful. A few hours later, I woke again. Daylight had filled the room. Joel wasn't beside me. I heard laughter in the living room, his voice and Clara's. I got up and opened the door. There was Joel, making breakfast, and Clara, standing close beside him, tiptoeing up to kiss him. "What are you two doing?" Chapter 3. I spoke coldly. Joel instinctively pushed Clara away and turned toward me with a smile. "Honey, you're up. Breakfast is almost ready." I glanced at the two of them with icy eyes. "Were you just kissing?" So they were already fooling around behind my back. And now they didn't even care that I was watching? This was beyond betrayal. It was an insult. My rage burned like wildfire, surging inside me. Joel quickly set down the spatula and came to my side, trying to explain gently. Clara was standing on her tiptoes to check the pan. "Maybe you misread the angle, or maybe your eyes are just blurry from just waking up." Clara nodded along helpfully. "Lisa, you must have been seeing things." Joel even leaned in to kiss my cheek like nothing had happened. "Go get changed, sweetheart." Breakfast was usually made by Monica, but today, Joel was in the kitchen because Clara had asked him to cook. She said she missed his homemade fried eggs. Because of a minor mishap, one egg got burnt. Joel took the charred one for himself and served the two perfect ones, one for me and one for Clara. I looked at the golden egg and warm toast on my plate. I had no appetite at all. I put down my chopsticks. "I don't want to eat." Clara frowned. "Joel made sure you got the perfect egg. And you, Clara." Joel cut her off sharply, then turned back to me with a gentle tone. "Babe, you don't look well. Should we go to the hospital?" I waved my hand. "No, I'm just a little nauseous. Happens a lot lately." A wave of sickness rose in me. I rushed to the bathroom. Joel's face changed instantly and followed me in a panic. "Lisa, what's wrong?" "I don't know. Smells make me want to vomit lately." Joel's face lit up. "Lisa, could it be? Are you pregnant?" "No, Joel. I'm just sick from watching the two of you." But I smiled. Let's say I didn't deny it, because the truth was I am pregnant, and letting him know was part of the plan. Joel was over the moon. He picked me up and spun me around. This is amazing. I'm not going to the office today. I'll take you to the hospital right now. I smiled sweetly. Put me down. The doctor said the first 3 months are delicate. We have to be careful. I took out the ultrasound scan. The baby is 6 weeks along. Joel blinked, stunned. You already went to the hospital? Yesterday. I wanted to surprise you on the wedding day. I touched my belly and smiled faintly. But it looks like the baby couldn't wait to let Daddy know. Joel was thrilled. He started fussing over me, ordering the housekeeper to take extra care and personally walked me back to our room. Sweetheart, just focus on resting for now. I'll handle the wedding. All you need to do is show up in your dress and be beautiful. Thank you. He acted like the perfect husband, gently helping me to bed, even tucking me in and kissing me softly on the lips. I'm heading to the office. You rest well. The room fell into silence as soon as the door closed. Clara left with Joel. I immediately called the driver. I had places to be. An hour later, I stood downstairs at the company headquarters. I went straight up. As expected, Clara was there. Joel had claimed he helped her find a job. Turns out, that job was right next to him as his personal assistant. Through the blinds, I saw her clinging to Joel's neck. The two of them laughing, sharing a fruit bowl like lovebirds. My fists clenched tight. I forced myself to push open the office door. Joel jumped up and pushed Clara away, clearly flustered. Honey, what are you doing here? Chapter 4. I held back the fire in my chest and tried to keep my voice calm. Oh, did I interrupt something? No matter how much I tried to keep my tone neutral, the resentment in my heart surged uncontrollably, slipping into my words. Joel's expression instantly darkened. Clara bit her lip and lowered her head pitifully. I'm sorry, Lisa. Maybe I'm just used to it from when we were kids. I forgot that now that we're grown, I should keep my distance from Joel. I'll resign right away. I'll move out too. While speaking, Clara peeked up at Joel's reaction. When she saw his brows furrowed tight, she knew her act of playing the victim had worked. Smug on the inside, she pretended to wipe away a tear and turned to leave. But Joel grabbed her wrist. With one hand still holding Clara, he shot me a side glance, voice growing colder. Are your pregnancy hormones making you paranoid? Clara's just like a little sister to me. I'm just helping her out with work. That's all. Just then, the intercom rang. His assistant was calling him into a meeting. He paused, then gripped Clara's hand tighter and said with complete confidence, Clara and I have work to do. Stop making a fuss over nothing. Go home and get some rest. I clenched my teeth and watched them walk out of the office. Only then did I sit at Joel's desk, open the drawer, and pull out his private seal. Then I took out the document from my bag. I stamped Joel's seal over the signature line and finally exhaled in relief. To show his sincerity, Joel had transferred 3% of company shares to me, making me one of the larger shareholders. But selling those shares required board approval and Joel's official seal. That was why I had come to steal it. With the stamp in place, I went straight to the exchange and listed the shares for sale. Afterward, I went to the mall, got my hair done, bought new clothes, and dressed myself up from head to toe. If I was going to walk away from this marriage, I'd do it looking my best. By the time I returned home, it was evening. Joel and Clara were already back. When Joel saw how radiant I looked, he couldn't hide the awe in his eyes. Clara, on the other hand, was gnashing her teeth with jealousy. Joel grabbed my hand. Huh? Babe, I want to take you somewhere. He pulled me into the car and drove off without explanation. On the way, he started talking to himself. I know I was out of line today. After the meeting, I wanted to apologize, but you were already gone. I'm sorry, babe. I've just been so stressed lately. That's why I lost my temper. Can you forgive me? I stared blankly at the passing streetlights, replying half-heartedly, it's fine. If Joel really cared about me, truly paid attention, he would have noticed something was off with me long ago. We arrived at a beachside resort, facing the ocean breeze. Joel dropped to one knee and pulled out a deed. You love the sea, right? This is a beachside villa. Whenever you want to feel the ocean, just come here. I took the deed and forced a smile. Thank you. I didn't love the sea. I found it salty, loud, and restless. I preferred quiet places. The one who loved the sea was Clara. Joel had gotten even that wrong, but he didn't notice how forced my smile was. He gently took my hand. This is our little world. Come on, let's take a walk. Let me grab a jacket from the car. I returned to the car to get my coat and casually tossed the deed into the glove box. Just as I was about to leave, I noticed a corner of something red sticking out. Curious. I pulled it out. Another property deed. Same villa complex. Just one house over. And the owner? Clara. So even the grand makeup gift wasn't one of a kind. He had bought twin houses for each of us. That old house renovation excuse? A lie. He wasn't fixing anything, he was preparing Clara's new home. I pressed a hand to my chest. The pain was so deep. It had gone numb. I wiped at the corners of my eyes. They were dry. Not a single tear left. We strolled along the beach for 10 minutes. Then Joel's phone rang. He didn't even check the caller, just declined it immediately. A message popped up right after. He quickly glanced at it, saw me leaning in, and turned the screen off without a word. Babe, something urgent came up at the office. Honestly, I almost laughed. What company emergency? I clearly caught a glimpse of the name on Joel's screen. It had a cutesy nickname next to it, Piggy. Who else could that be, if not Clara? Joel looked nervous and jittery, afraid his reaction would seem suspicious, but also clearly eager to rush over. He was so flustered. He didn't even notice my expression darken. I spoke softly. Work is important. Go ahead. On the way back, I noticed Joel wasn't wearing his wedding ring. I already knew why. Clara had hidden it. Where's your ring? I asked. A flash of unease flickered in Joel's eyes before he composed himself. Must have left it at the office. I'll look for it tomorrow. When we got married, Joel had designed the rings himself, even engraved them with our names. Those diamond bands once symbolized our purest love, but I didn't call him out. All right. That night, Joel and Clara came home. Clara was clearly in a bad mood. She disappeared into the bedroom and never came out. Joel handed me the ring with a half-hearted explanation. It fell under the couch and got a little dirty. I'll take it for cleaning. I stared straight at him, unblinking. Is that so? My tone was calm, too calm, and that only made Joel more guilty. I held the ring and looked at it for a moment. Then I said, "It is dirty." Joel rushed to comfort me. "I'll get it cleaned tomorrow. I promise. Maybe the ring can be cleaned, but what about a man who's already filthy?" Later that night, Joel snuck into Clara's room again. Lust was in the air. I heard him panting. "Stop messing with my ring. Lisa's getting suspicious." Clara huffed and pouted. "So you really care what she thinks?" Joel playfully bit her neck. "You can mess with me all you want in private. Just don't push it in front of Lisa." Clara clenched her jaw, her eyes turning red. "Joel, will I always be your dirty little secret?" Joel smirked. "What's wrong with what we have now?" The thrill of sneaking around, he was addicted to it. But Clara wrapped her arms around his neck and whispered into his ear, "I'm pregnant too." Joel froze. Chapter 5. Joel's face darkened. Seeing his reaction, Clara's eyes reddened. "Joel, this is our first baby," she probed cautiously. "Don't you want it?" Joel froze. Even his breath stalled. "I'll think about it," he muttered. Clara leaned into him again, her voice soft and pitiful. "Lisa's never been able to carry a baby to term. What if this pregnancy doesn't work out either?" Joel suddenly snapped. "Don't you dare curse Lisa." He completely ignored Clara's hurt expression as he declared coldly, "The only woman who will ever bear my child is Lisa." Clara's tears streamed down, one after another. "I promise I'll be good. I won't let her find out." Joel hesitated. His gaze softened a little. "You better behave, or else." Clara seized the moment and silenced him with a kiss. For 6 years, I had taken heparin injections to prepare for pregnancy, battling autoimmune issues. My abdomen was covered in bruises. Joel had said more than once he couldn't bear to watch me suffer. That maybe we shouldn't have kids, but I endured it all for him, because I loved him, because I wanted a child born of that love. He used to say that I and our baby were his only ones. But now, Clara's here, and soon, she'll give birth to his child. Joel, You were the one who broke the promise. The next morning, I had a craving for rice noodles. Joel said he'd cook them himself. When Clara came out and saw this, her eyes instantly welled up. She quickly switched to a playful tone. Joel, I want rice noodles too. With me standing there, Joel shot her a glare. If you want some, ask Monica. I only made enough for one. Clara pouted. So unfair. You're spoiling her too much. Then she sat down and waved at Monica to prepare something else. She added with a fake laugh. I don't really like rice noodles anyway. Just messing with you too. Joel ignored her, but from the corner of my eye, I caught Clara's foot brushing against his leg under the table. Before leaving, Joel kissed me on the forehead. I fought back the nausea just to avoid turning away. Joel, I called. He turned around, his smile full of affection. What should I bring you after work? Honey? I stared at him calmly. You know what I've been through for this baby. You'll love it just as much, right? His smile faltered for a second. Then, as if nothing happened, he reassured me. Of course, if you ever change your heart, the baby and I will die. Joel went pale instantly, still forcing a smile. Don't say that. I only love you. Later, I sat in my room, watching the living room's security footage on my phone. Joel was dragging Clara out the front door, his face dark as a storm. Clara cried and begged, refusing to go. Joel's voice was ice cold. You cannot keep this baby. My child can only come from Lisa. My wife is only her. He'd made his choice. He wanted my baby. To anyone watching, he might have looked loyal. I touched my empty belly, eyes welling with tears. Baby, I'm sorry. Chapter 6. When Clara came home, her face was pale, and her body looked weak. She barely stepped through the door before ordering Monica to make her some soup. Monica instinctively looked at me. After all, I'm the real lady of this house. I feigned ignorance and stepped forward, showing concern. Clara, are you feeling unwell? Want me to take you to the hospital? Clara's eyes burned with resentment, but thinking of Joel's warning, she swallowed her anger and replied in a muffled voice. Just a cold. I'll be fine with rest. Thanks for asking. I knew Joel had forced her into getting the abortion, but on the surface, I kept up my caring act. I told the kitchen to prepare soup for Clara. Only then did Monica nod and head off. Still, I felt someone watching me from behind, sending a chill down my spine. All it took was one bit of pain for you to hate me? So many of your nights were filled with laughter, while mine were soaked in tears just across the wall. When I saw the baby I worked so hard to carry become a jar of blood, the pain was so sharp, it made me wish I were dead. That night, Joel brought me a set of diamond jewelry worth 8 figures, to celebrate our pregnancy. He also brought back a pile of supplements. The nutritionist picked everything, good for both you and the baby. He had obviously prepared 2 sets, but used me as the excuse. Looking at the table full of health products, I acted surprised. All this is for me? All of it, for you and the baby. Joel hugged me, his face full of tender affection. You've suffered so much these past 6 years. Now it's time to take care of yourself. Gain a little weight when the wind blows. I'm scared you'll get carried away. How could one person eat this much? I saw right through it, but said nothing. After dinner, Joel stayed with me in the bedroom. I watched dramas while he went over wedding details for tomorrow. He even asked me to pick our honeymoon destination. I wasn't interested and pointed randomly at a spot. He frowned. Lisa, you don't want to go to the beach? Again, with the beach? I looked at him and said seriously, I've never liked the beach. He stiffened for a moment but didn't argue. He smiled and turned the page. Then let's go to Luxembourg. Sure, I replied, without emotion. Finally, he sensed something was off. He frowned again. Lisa, you seem different lately. I gave him a faint smile. Different how? He thought for a moment. You used to get excited about travel, start planning early. This time you don't seem to care. He juggled 2 women, thinking I would still be the same docile, devoted wife? Men truly are selfish and greedy. I looked at him and gave a tired smile. Maybe pregnancies just made me a bit low energy. Then I added, softly, anywhere's fine, as long as I'm with you. His smile returned. He tucked me in gently and kissed me on the lips. "All right, I'll handle everything, you just rest." He didn't press further and told me to sleep well. Later that night, while I pretended to sleep, Joel quietly slipped into Clara's room. He promised Clara everything except marriage and the baby. Clara couldn't take it anymore. She broke down. "Joel, this isn't fair to me. You said you loved me." Joel answered bluntly. "But I love Lisa more." That shattered her. She started smashing everything in the room, crying hysterically. Joel covered her mouth quickly. "Shut up. If you wake Lisa, you'll be out of this house for good." In the end, Clara didn't make a scene. Joel told her she was not allowed to show up at the wedding. Clara, full of tears, begged, "Joel, I can't marry you in this life, but at least let me come watch you in your tux, please? I promise I'll be quiet. I won't cause trouble." But men are always arrogant. He truly thought Clara would obey without question. He forgot what a woman desperate to rise in rank could do. No one wants to share a man. Clara really didn't cause a scene in front of Joel. Instead, she turned around and sent me her pregnancy report. "Joel made me get an abortion. You won this round. But don't get cocky. I've never had a baby, so my body's still perfect. You'll just be Mrs. Joel in name, left alone in an empty house. He'll never touch you again. You took my baby? Then I'll make sure you live in pain." I made her lose her baby? Then who took mine? Morning came. Wedding day. Countdown, 0. Chapter 7. According to the plan, I was supposed to go get styled. Joel went to the hotel first. The ceremony began, but there was no bride. Suddenly, on the big screen, a video began playing. It was Joel and Clara, tangled up in intimacy. The final image was a sonogram Clara sent me last night, along with the texts she used to provoke me, at the exact moment I'd scheduled. A same-day delivery courier stepped onto the stage and handed Joel an envelope. Inside were my abortion report, my signed divorce papers. "Mr. Joel," the courier announced. "Miss Lisa said the divorce agreement is signed, and the child, too, she had it terminated." The crowd gasped. No one dared speak too loudly. Joel's family was powerful in the business world, but curiosity burned in everyone's eyes. Joel stood there clutching the surgical form, his chest tightening to the point he couldn't breathe. Like being struck by a sledgehammer, he grabbed the courier by the collar, voice trembling. "Where is Lisa? Where is she?" The courier looked innocent. "Sir, I only deliver what the client orders. I don't know where Miss Lisa is." Joel froze on stage, stunned, as realization hit him. I had run away from the wedding. Impossible. Was it all fake? All those years of love, a lie? He looked down at the date on the surgical report. His heart twisted like it was being torn apart. So all this time, it had been revenge. Just then, the courier returned again. This time, he delivered the wedding dress to Clara. He also handed Joel a small card. "Mr. Joel, Miss Lisa asked me to give you this. She said it's a wedding gift for you too." On the card, handwritten, "Joel, thank you for choosing to keep my baby, but unfortunately, I aborted him before Clara's procedure. She's still young. Let her try again. I'm sure she'd love to. I'm gone now. You no longer need to hide. I've altered the dress to fit your little piggy. Wishing you a lifetime of being locked down together. Let's never meet again." It was the perfect moment for Clara. Unable to resist, she eagerly changed into the wedding gown, step by step walking toward her dream. Her eyes were full of hope. "Joel, I can finally be your bride." Joel's face was like a thunderstorm. Veins bulged from his temples, fists clenched so tight they cracked. "Who said you could wear that?" Clara froze, completely confused. How had the man who spoiled her, who was still whispering sweet nothings last night, suddenly become a stranger? Tears welled in her eyes, but she refused to take off the dress. "Joel, I'm marrying you. Aren't you happy? Take it off!" Joel shouted. "Who told you to wear that?" Clara was still insisting. "Lisa's gone. That means I can marry you." She didn't realize that sentence had completely set Joel off. "I have only one wife, and that's Lisa." Joel lunged forward, ripping at the dress. It was strapless. If he pulled it off, she would be completely exposed. Clara desperately clutched the bodice, sobbing, "Joel, please don't. I'll be exposed. Marrying you has always been my dream." But Joel didn't stop. The sound of Clara's breakdown echoed through the hall. What was meant to be the wedding of the century became the joke of the city. The woman stripped of her gown in public, Clara, couldn't take the humiliation. That evening, she jumped from the 29th floor. Chapter 8. I heard Joel didn't even go to see Clara. He was too busy holding the wedding dress, searching for his bride. By that time, I was already recovering at my best friend's house. She showed me the news and teased, "So, what do you think about Joel's move?" I glanced at the headline and calmly set the phone down. Only a week had passed. But to me, it felt like a whole century. Not worth looking at. After you left, Joel went crazy. He's searching everywhere for you. Didn't even glance at Clara after she jumped. Is that what they call not cherishing what you have until it's gone? I opened my phone. It was flooded with Joel's texts. "Lisa, Clara is dead. Nothing stands between us anymore. Lisa, I know I was wrong. I made the kind of mistake all men do. Give me one more chance. Lisa, I understand you're angry. You aborted the baby to hurt me. I felt that pain. The company shares, I know it was you. I don't care about any of that. I just want you back. Lisa, where are you? Don't ignore me. I'm begging you. Lisa, please respond. Lisa, where are you?" Right in front of my friend. I deleted all the messages, blocked his number. Men lie with every word. My best friend nodded in agreement. Who needs men? We can shine on our own. "So, what's your plan now?" I patted my bag with a grin. "Well, now that I'm a rich woman, I'm thinking of becoming a major shareholder in your company. How's that sound?" She had once been heartbroken too. Starting over alone in a foreign land, though her company had grown. She was always limited by funding. My investment made us unstoppable. Deal of a lifetime. She smiled. Her company focused on cosmetics R&D. After regaining my health, I joined her in developing new products. We traveled constantly, meeting clients, testing samples, inspecting factories. Each night we collapsed into bed, exhausted. After countless trials, we successfully launched a new product. It sold well immediately. Sales rose by 5% compared to last year. To reward the staff, we rented a hotel to throw a celebration party. With wine in hand, my bestie approached me. "Isn't staying busy the best medicine for heartbreak?" Her words hit me. It was true. I hadn't thought about Joel in a long time. A woman can shine on her own. I raised my glass. To our courage. She smiled knowingly and clinked glasses with me. In life, beyond romance, we have so much more to live for. That night, I drank more than usual. My assistant drove me home, and right downstairs, I saw someone I never expected. Joel was leaning against a Rolls-Royce, smoking. The streetlight stretched his shadow long and thin. Smoke wrapped around him, hiding his expression, but he looked utterly lost. As soon as he saw me, he crushed the cigarette and rushed over. "Lisa, I finally found you." Chapter 9. His gaze locked onto my assistant's hand, resting on my waist. Only then did I realize, the reason I was standing was because I'd drunk too much. My assistant had to hold me up. He was just about to let go and explain, but I casually tightened my grip on his arm. Joel's expression darkened even more. "You left me, for him? Why else?" I looked straight into his eyes. "What? Was I supposed to lie in bed every night crying, listening to you and Clara screwing in the next room?" His handsome face twitched with shame. He lowered his head. "I was wrong. I'm sorry. She's dead now. I'll never betray you again. Please, just give me another chance. After all these years." This was the first time Joel had ever begged me like this. If it were before, I might have been moved beyond words. But now, all I felt was disgust. "You gave our wedding rings to Clara. The house you bought me, Clara had the one next door. I thought you were planning to be a polygamist." Joel bowed his head even lower. "It was just novelty with Clara, not love. She was wild and radiant. Yes, I was drawn to that. But it wasn't love. Since you left, my life has been a living hell. Joel paused, then looked at me with a face full of emotion. Every night, I lie in our bed, remembering everything about us. I can feel your scent fading from the house. Lisa, I can't take it anymore. That's enough. Joel, I cut him off coldly. Save those words for your next girlfriend. Whatever happens to you has nothing to do with me. I slid my arm around my assistant's waist, pulling him closer. I felt Joel's breath hitch. You used to be my entire world. Now, I want to own the entire world. After leaving you, I realized anyone but you can make me happy. And with that, I walked past him, leaning on my assistant as we headed home. Lisa, don't regret this. Joel's shout echoed behind me, bitter and furious. I didn't look back. I entered the house and turned off the lights. About an hour later, I heard the engine start outside. After the car drove off, I turned the lights back on. My assistant stood awkwardly, fidgeting, nervously stepping back. Boss, I have a girlfriend, then quickly added, as if the first line wasn't enough. We're getting married next month. I really love her. I smiled and sent him a big red packet. Thanks for earlier. He blinked. I smiled again. Think of this as my wedding gift to you too. Stay true to her. Be happy. Realizing he'd just been a decoy, he visibly relaxed. Thank you, boss. Joel was gone, and the heavy stone in my heart was finally lifted. All these years, I had chained myself to the idea of giving Joel children, never imagining there was another way. I made him my entire world. But now, thanks to him, I finally understood. I was me, before I was anything else.